After a gunshot almost ended his life, the entrepreneur behind Social Status building an East Coast empire and collaborating with Michael Jordan. Nah, you cannot make this it up. Whitner is now working with Michael Jordan's son and former UFC night shooting guard Marcus Jordan to help run Trophy Room, a new sneaker. What a coincidence. Speaking of coincidences, do you remember just a couple of weeks ago we talked about a store that had gotten robbed multiple times, but they seemed to stay in business because they managed to get insurance? Well, it seems like Alma Maniere seems to fall victim to the very same thing. Alma Maniere fell victim to several robberies last year. In September 2015, someone drove a car through the store's front and stole over $15,000 in goods. Well, if you guys recall, we talked about this eerie situation that seemed to continuously happen at another store and why that was so fishy. But look, that's not the point of this video. The point of this video is to emphasize that, as he says, he is the best. I'm an ambitious person. Who wants to lose? Anything I do, I want to be the best at it. Well, you sure are. $32 million over the course of 5 years. You are definitely the best. F*** you, Marcus Jordan. You think you could compete with this $32 million? And as we unpack this story, remember, who I am now and who I was then are two different people. You're absolutely right. With his new life and his place in the footwear industry firmly established, Whitner is now focused on longevity and legacy. My goal is for the kids to identify with my brands, not with me, but the things I've created, because they'll be here when I'm dead and gone. And when we look back at your legacy, we will remember the civil complaint filed in North Carolina regarding the fact that you, for years, resold millions of dollars worth of sneakers to Chinese nationals and engaged in what prosecutors say is a money laundering operation. The complaint says that although the business was conducted under the auspices of reselling sneakers and apparel, it rinsed cash from illegal activity and moved it into the banking system. Now, before you go and tell me that maybe he didn't know what he was doing was breaking the law, you tell me why he had $1.2 million hidden in USPS boxes. In cash, I have no idea. Now, of course, they deny these allegations still. To be clear, while we take the allegations in the complaint seriously, they are unfounded, unrelated to our business or this community, and unjustified. But, you know, like, the civil complaint mentions that Whitner resold goods produced by an unnamed Oregon-based sneaker company. His contract with the company forbade him to sell products outside of the US or to other distributors. Nike, which is headquartered in Oregon, is Whitner's largest collaborative partner. The brand regularly works with Whitner's stores on special edition releases. Of course, these are the collaborations that we all know and love. But I want you guys to keep in mind that Social Status and Alma Maniere is, of course, receiving all limited releases, things like Off-White, Travis Scott, etc. If you want my opinion on how this went down over the prior 5 years, most likely it started off very small at the beginning 5 years ago. Little by little, gradually increased in volume as he started realizing how much he could get away with. And throughout this entire process, he realized that not only was he benefiting from the profit of the sneakers, but because this was behind closed doors, he also wouldn't have to report the income, meaning it was tax-free. So not only was he getting the profit from reselling these sneakers, despite the fact that his contract said he had to sell them through Alma Maniere and Social Status, you know, the normal way a store is supposed to release them, but on top of that, because he's already trying to hide this from the contract, he also figures, well, I don't really have to, or I can't report this income anyway, so it's tax-free. And I think this also allowed him to realize that not only was he able to backdoor limited sneakers, but he was making profit even if he backdoored regular sneakers. And so I think over the years, he just gained more and more comfort doing this, to the point where he wasn't only doing it on just the limited releases, but he was probably doing this on tons of GRs too, and increasing the volume every single time because he had no idea that the feds were watching him. Whitner would resell sneakers to a Chinese purchaser who paid a broker for the product. Chinese money couriers under the direction of the broker in China would then collect the cash from, among others, individuals engaged in illegal activity. The complaint says these couriers were instructed to collect large amounts of money, sometimes from women they believed to be engaged in prostitution. The money moved through these couriers, the complaint says, into the hands of Whitner, which allowed him to receive the cash and not report it, tax-free. In his response to the complaint, the Whittaker Group highlighted its work to help people of color tell their stories and said that work was now under attack. despite productive engagement with the U.S. Attorney's Office. Look, guys, I'm not going to spell out what he's doing right here, but I want you guys, people in the comments, to try to explain what's going on with this statement. This complaint will not deter us from continuing to tell our stories and build a legacy of excellence, and we will continue to vigorously defend our business and all that they contribute to culture, commerce, and the community. You know, there's a lot of really hard-working small business owners who actually do contribute to culture, commerce, and community. How do you think situations like this make them look? I think that's what bothers me the most about this entire story. This guy's trying to seem like a saint, like he does so much for the community and culture, when in reality, the complaint describes a Chinese national referred to as YG who distributed and sold sneakers in Asia. YG and Whitner had a business relationship extending back to at least 2016. Prosecutors say that YG delivered large amounts of US currency to Whitner in exchange for sneakers. Whitner sold millions of dollars of the sneaker company's products to YG, the complaint reads. YG resold the products in China and elsewhere. According to the complaint, Freeman helped Whitner move huge amounts of cash involved in his transactions with Chinese nationals. Prosecutors allege that beginning in 2017, Whitner also had YG make payments to Freeman. These payments were either made at Freeman's home in New Jersey or at his Manhattan-based branding agency, The Foundation. Court documents break down the alleged scheme in detail. First, YG would agree to purchase sneakers from Whitner, then a broker would receive payments from YG and instruct money couriers to collect US currency from various people around New York City. One courier, per the complaint, said the money was collected from people who were often prostitutes or engaged in other illegal activity. When the couriers accumulated enough money, often between $50,000 and $100,000, they delivered it to Freeman, prosecutors say. Court documents contain pictures of USPS flat-rate shipping boxes couriers allegedly used to deliver loads of money to Freeman. Guys, with this kind of evidence, it's one thing to deny crimes because you want to plead not guilty, but it's another thing to, on top of that, start saying how much you contribute to the community, and you're just going too far. Whitner would initially visit Freeman in New York City and transfer the money back to Charlotte, where social status is based. But in 2019, the complaint alleges he began employing Brinks to transport the money in armored vehicles. That's how huge this operation was, guys. They were using armored vehicles. Whitner instructed those involved on how to transfer the money so as to avoid it being flagged by financial institutions, according to the complaint. Prosecutors say that between November 2017 and April 2022, Whitner's business did more than $32 million worth of transactions with YG. The money was spread across 255 transactions, with each exceeding $10,000. The complaint says that Whitner did not file the documents legally required for these transactions. Of course he didn't. Law enforcement arrested Freeman in August 2021 as he was walking to his office in Midtown Manhattan. He was carrying a backpack and a deposit bag. According to documents, a search of his apartment turned up $1.2 million in cash hidden in his closet in USPS boxes. During a subsequent investigation, the complaint says law enforcement monitored the movement of another $1.5 million in unlicensed money transmitting business activity. Freeman pled guilty to misprision of felony for his role in the money transfers. Two of the money couriers were also hit with criminal charges. While prosecutors say the millions of dollars in transactions were at the behest of his companies, Whitner has not been charged. The complaint describes a consensually monitored phone call between Freeman and Whitner that took place in July 2022. Prosecutors say that in that conversation, the two discussed Freeman's arrest and the seizure of $50,000 meant for a transaction with YG. On that call, Whitner said that he had a feeling some fishy shit was going on. So it looks like he is going to get away scot-free with this. But if you ask me, any business owner with some sense, some care of their own business, who is at least taking a gander at some of the accounting statements, you are definitely going to know something is happening. Like, without a doubt. So, unfortunately, there might not be evidence that suggests that he was behind this, but if we use our common sense, we'll come to the same conclusion that we do with Marcus Jordan. So, it looks like justice is not going to be served for the sneaker community at least as of now. But who knows? We'll stay up to date with this. Make sure to subscribe and enable post notifications if anything comes up or for other important sneaker updates. Also, you can feel free to join my group Endurance with the link below if you're interested in reselling products on the side for extra income, whether that's sneakers or anything in general. Not only that, but if you just want free sneaker updates, you can check out that same link below. And we're also offering one free channel with Endurance right now, which is the free Chick-fil-A channel. Yes, you heard that. You can get free Chick-fil-A because we do so much more than helping people resell. We try to do anything to help you guys make and save money too. So if you're interested, check out the link below. Other than that though, it'll be a fantastic rest of your day, guys. Hopefully we get some better news regarding this.